Secretary of Defense Chuck Hagel, unexpectedly to some, stepped down from his position this week. Why did it happen? For many of us who watched the election go south for the president and his party, it seemed almost inevitable that somebody from the foreign policy team would get the axe. The only question was who. The split between the administration and Hagel was particularly ugly, like a nasty divorce. The administration was putting out leaks over the last few weeks suggesting that Hagel was either ineffective or inarticulate or not smart enough to make the case for the points that they needed made. He was always in public with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs Dempsey. He wasn't allowed to go out on his own before Congress or anywhere else. It really was a very ugly situation over the last weeks, and it shouldn't have come as a surprise to anyone that he got the can. Early in the days of Hagel's tenure at the Pentagon, he had handlers from the White House who were very aggressive in managing him. But as the months passed, he said more and more things on his own. And one of those things was that he disagreed with the president about the threat that ISIS posed. If everybody remembers, the president referred to ISIS as a junior league threat. Hagel almost explicitly disagreed with the president only a couple of weeks later, suggesting that they were a substantial threat to the United States.
Oh, this is beyond anything that we've seen.
I'm sure that that was part of the erosion of trust between the White House and the secretary, made it all the easier for the president or the vice president or the chief of staff to make the call saying, buddy, you're out. A really good question is what the president is looking for in the aftermath of the Hagel fiasco. Most people believe that he does not want somebody who's going to push back very hard on national security policy. He wants somebody who's going to be easily confirmed but will not play a strong role inside the Pentagon. This is going to be a very interesting confirmation for the next Secretary of Defense because it will be the first confirmation with a Republican Senate and John McCain as chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee. The next secretary, no matter who he or she is going to be out of the frying pan where they are now into the fire. It is going to be a tough battle for Pentagon funds. The budget has been cut dramatically, $1 trillion over the next 10 years. We are at war in Afghanistan. We are at war, but not really, in Iraq and in Syria. We're facing very serious threats in the East and South China Sea. And of course, we are facing the rise of Vladimir Putin and the aftermath of his invasion of Ukraine. This isn't going to be an easy job for anyone, and they're going to have to triangulate between a Republican Congress that wants more on national security and a White House that wants less. This is not going to be an easy job, and I don't envy anybody who's nominated for it.